Projector to project their identity. One organization is using it to promote economic development. The Agakhan Development Network recently presented 5 projects with the Agakhan Award for Architecture. Now, in its 33rd year, the award is dedicated to improving the living conditions and opportunities for the needy. I sat down with the chairman and founder of the foundation and spiritual leader of the Muslim Ismaili community, His Highness the Aga Khan. I asked him about his organization's key priorities.
General goal of the Agakhan Development Network as a system of agencies is to assist in the construction of civil society. We over the past 50 years, have come to the conclusion that the strength and quality of civil society is the greatest guarantor of processes of positive change.
It's incredible because you look at the highest per capita income. So if one takes Doha, the highest per capita income in the world, or nearly such, at $90,000, and then Yemen at around $1,200, it's not realistic to keep a gap that wide and not expect trouble at the bottom end.
Well, I think the issue is not only the differences in quality of life. There are many other criteria, and one of the ones that we are most exposed to as a network of institutions is what is healthy speed of change, because you can move too fast. It's not only addressing a form of paralysis of development and extricating yourself from that frozen situation. It's also that societies just don't change that quickly, and if you do force them to change quickly, you're going to run into another set of problems.
This change that's being introduced in many parts of the world, in the Islamic world, is happening at a very fast pace, but we also have the fastest birth rates in the world. So in a sense, these governments need to manage this change at a very accelerated pace as a result of the very fast birth rates.
Well, population issues are serious issues in much of the Islamic world, but not only in the Islamic world. But I think what we've tended to see as economies have modernized, birth rates drop in any event. That's practically a global process.
Do you think in the broader Middle East region that education was not a priority? You see countries like Saudi Arabia or even Qatar spending a quarter to a third of their budgets now to play catch-up. Were the last 2 decades lost decades in terms of human capital development?
I don't think one can generalize on the Islamic world. If you look at countries like Malaysia or Indonesia, they have invested heavily in education, and they're seeing the return on that investment. Other countries didn't move that quickly for various reasons. They didn't have institutional capacities. And so they're now in a more of a catch-up mode. I don't think it's too late.
If you look at it, we have a Muslim market, if you will, of nearly 1.5 billion consumers, but they often don't trade amongst themselves. And you say that the more progressive economies like Malaysia now looking to the Gulf or even looking to China from the Middle East.
Right.
This is a marked change over even 5 to 10 years ago, would you say?
It is indeed.
Can you get accelerated trade to actually deal with poverty, though?
I would tend to differentiate between the countries which are essentially driven by rural or agricultural economies and economies which are driven by other resources.
And in fact, so rural development has to be a priority.
Has to be a priority. Environments. After all, 70% of the Muslim population of the world probably lives from the land and on the land.
Once again, the Aga Khan talking to me there in Doha. Up next, back at the bargaining table, world powers agreed to more talks with Iran as questions remain over the country's nuclear ambitions.